Today's Cowboys Report, the second one of the day, is presented by Roan. You guys can get 20% off when you go over to roan.com/chatsports for polos, t-shirts, and more, including like the one I am wearing today. As I mentioned, it is the second Cowboys Report of the day. If you like having 2 shows per day, then like today's video. Help show my bosses that this is what you guys want with training camp here, with the preseason just around the corner, and of course, of the entire regular season still to go. So like that video for me right now. We'll begin, and we'll get some training camp updates here as well, injuries included, with Ezekiel Elliott. So Jerry Jones, who I think was putting on his owner hat more so than his GM hat, so the door was not shut, as he said before, on Zeke following the Ronald Jones suspension. 2 games for PEDs for Jones, as we broke down yesterday. Mike McCarthy, however, speaking after Jerry did, was not nearly as open to it as Jerry Jones was. Zeke did take a visit to the Patriots, isn't signing at this time. Doesn't seem like there's been that much interest in him at the current moment. But first, here's what Jerry said. We're reading the tea leaves. He's not ruled out at all. Mike McCarthy asked about Zeke and said, no, because of the reps. We're not just going to hit a bump and then give up on the path. We want to see these young guys. I want to see them play in games. These young backs, Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle, Hunter Lipke, and Deuce Vaughn, most of whom have at least shown something so far in training camp, are worthy of getting a shot in the preseason to see what these guys can do against opposing defenses and see if you have some cheap young options behind Tony Pollard. Mike McCarthy, before the Ronald Jones suspension, mentioned most of those guys minus Jones, and now we kind of know why, right? I tell you, I'm loving Rico Dowdle, and it's great to have him back. Malik Davis has taken that jump that you're looking for. Those guys would jump out. Obviously, we've got to get Deuce Vaughn involved. Mike then said he was thinking about ways to get Deuce involved as soon as they drafted him. Whether it's Davis, Dowdle, Vaughn, or Hunter Lipke, everyone's favorite fullback, only fullback on the roster, I want to see what those young players can do. And I think we'll have a good feel based on what we see in the first preseason game. Who is out there, when they are out there, how long are they? For example, like if Malik Davis doesn't play against the Jags, probably a good indication that, hey, he's already made this team. And then maybe you don't feel the need to add a veteran back like Ezekiel Elliott. But this is a show based upon democracy. It is America's team, after all. So this is your chance to sound off at the pinned comment. Do you want to bring back Ezekiel Elliott? Why for yes and for no? Go vote for me in the comments section. Injury news and notes to get into here. First up, Simi Fehoko has a quad contusion, a fancy word for he bruised it. Hit a linebacker, going to miss a little bit of time here. Cowboys expect him to return at some point this week. They are off tomorrow on Wednesday. Maybe he's back Thursday or Friday. We'll see from that standpoint. But others are impressing, as we'll get into later on in the meantime, which isn't really Fehoko's fault, but might negatively impact him. Sam Williams is next up here. He's dealing with that shoulder strain. When we checked in yesterday during our live show, didn't know the severity. Mike McCarthy said, doesn't seem to be too bad. We'll try to work him into individual stuff today. And he started that, and then also left practice early again. So we'll have to keep an eye on Sam Williams. Doesn't seem to be major, but there clearly is some pain, discomfort he's dealing with. So again, off tomorrow. We'll see what happens later on in the week. Now, today's show is made possible by Roan. Men's clubs were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan has stepped up to the challenge. The Commuter Collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to mankind, and here's why. Roan gets you ready for every and any occasion with the Commuter Collection. Pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos like I'm wearing right now. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan Commuter Collection. You've got 4-way stretch fabric giving you breathability, flexibility for whatever life throws your way. To drinks after work, to the commute home, especially if you got a longer one and or it's hot in the summer. Golf, like I like to do. Get 20% off your order at roan.com/chatsports. That is roan.com rhone.com/chatsports, rhone.com/chatsports. Find your corner office comfort today with Roan. That link, once again, is in the comments section and the description of today's show. More defensive end injuries here. Dorance Armstrong has hamstring tightness, missed Monday and Tuesday's practice. Again, probably more minor here. If this was, September 1st, he'd probably be practicing. On August 1st, the Cowboys will be much more conservative and cautious with one of their best defensive edge rushers in this group. So not too concerned about Armstrong. It is a little bit frustrating. There's been so many minor injuries so far, but as of this time, knock on wood very deliberately, nothing too severe at this stage. Trevon Diggs, good news here. He was back at practice today, did some teamwork as well, so that bruised toe just fine. Had a fantastic pass breakup on a potential touchdown throw from Dak to KaVontae Turpin. Nice win there for Diggs. Meanwhile, Luke Schoonmaker, if we believe Dr. Stephen Jones, normally it's Dr. Jerry given the insight, does sound like Schoonmaker could be back in the near future for the Cowboys, which would be a big deal. Here's what Stephen said on Schoonmaker's injury. He's actually making a ton of progress. The best reports I've had on him have been from the last 3 days from Britt Brown. That's the Cowboys director of rehab, by the way. He's doing a hell of a job. I actually think he'll be moving into practice here at the end of the week. Currently, Schoonmaker is on the NFI list, the non-football injury list. Sooner he gets back as a first-year tight end, the better. Gives him a better shot of making an impact this season. Now, we will have you guys covered on all the latest Cowboys news, rumors, etc. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Free videos, sometimes multiple times per day, just like today, when you sub to the Cowboys Report. All right, some training camp notes, news, takeaways from today. The wide receivers continue to impress. It was definitely a day in which the offense had its way, for the most part, with the defense, especially in some 7-on-7, 1-on-1 drills happened today. Tend to favor the receivers in that category, but there were some good plays, including but not limited to KaVontae Turpin, the very undersized wide receiver, is looking more like a wide receiver and not just a gadget player. It's camp. We tend to get overly excited oftentimes about receivers than when the games actually start to begin. But Turpin has shown promise as a wide receiver. It would be great if he could actually contribute on offense. Maybe that was a Kellen thing. Maybe Turpin wasn't ready. Who knows? I'd like it to change this year. One of the more overlooked players, I think, in the wide receiver room. We were also excited about Jalen Moreno-Cropper because we talked about him before the draft. But Brooks was the Cowboys' 7th-round pick, and he continues to be, it's back-to-back days now, he has been one of the most impactful wide receivers for the Cowboys. He's getting open, he's playing physical, had a fantastic route, I'm pretty sure, against Nashawn Wright for a touchdown. Brooks should no longer be slept on. He is fighting very hard to make the Cowboys roster. There's special teams value there. That might go a long way in, say, a battle against Fehoko or so for that wide receiver, potentially 6 or even higher spot. Then there's Jalen Tolbert. He looks like a different guy from what we saw last year. I mean that in a good way. Last year, Tolbert didn't have confidence, kind of lost his way, was struggling, wasn't moving quickly because he wasn't processing quickly. Not a problem right now. He looks way better out there, and it looks like he has the inside track to the wide receiver 4 spot. Then again, it's only August, and last year was bad. So are you buying into the Jalen Tolbert redemption arc? B for your buy-in, S for your selling in the comments. A very good day for Dak Prescott, by the way. Started things off, I think, 9 of 9 or 10 of 10, something like that, with a drop mixed in there. If you don't include the drop, it was from Hendershot, who later redeemed himself, by the way. Very good showing from Prescott today at training camp. You're never actually going to complete every single pass. That's not how football, even practice, works. But that was a very good showing from Dak Prescott. The mojo moment, the surprise, situational football thing McCarthy does each day, was 2-point conversion reps. Cowboys offense, 5 for 5 in those situations. Not all against first-team defense, but it was a very good day for Prescott. Frankly, I think one of the better days at camp you'll see from him now and even in years past. On the flip side, there's this guy named Micah Parsons who, look, we are at the point where if the Cowboys said, you know what, Micah, you're good until week 1, I would not be mad at it. He is torching the offensive line, and it's really at a point where you're not able to evaluate the offensive unit the way you want to. He's blowing up plays too quickly. I don't know. Like, he's gotten a lot of reps against Chuma Edoga because Tyron Smith's on a pitch count. Steel's on a pitch count, as they should be. But he's getting reps against Chuma Edoga and beating him so quick, I can't evaluate Edoga. Is it just Micah's being, best defensive player in the NFL? Or does Edoga suck? I can't figure out what the answer is. You're almost at the point where you need to bench Micah Parsons, give him a veteran rest day to get the offense a normal practice, because you're not going to play a Micah Parsons. There are great defensive players out there. There's not very many Micahs. You'll get an Aaron Donald once a year or so. It's almost too much of a challenge for the offense. And he hit Dak today. On accident, pulled up some, no injuries, everything's fine there. He's playing too fast for the offense to be able, for himself even, to slow down. So he's been great. He's almost been too good, as weird as that might sound for camp. Tying into this, though, is the offensive line. I don't think they've done a great job in the run blocking. There's been a couple nice runs, oftentimes to the left side. You're missing Zach Martin out there. Let's be clear. The backup guard options, not named Tyler Smith, have not impressed me. It was a great rep from Mozzie Smith working Matt Farniok. Farniok also jumped off sides or false started and still got beat. So I am concerned about the interior guard depth on this Cowboys team. Dalton Reisner is visiting the Vikings. I would still have interest there. I would like to see something going on at the O-line depth. Because without Zach Martin, I'm just not seeing enough from TJ Bass, who's UDFA, so he needs more time anyway. Ball, even Farniok have not been ultra impressive to me so far. So what is your confidence level in the offensive line? I don't think it's an accident that Dak and the receivers were cooking mostly against just the DBs and not pass rush too. I think that's a testament to some offensive line issues. Not all bad, but you got more room for growth there. So scale for me in the comments, 1 to 10. Finally, a kicker update. We'll do this every chance we get here. Brandon Aubrey, through 2 days of actual kicks, is 11 of 14. He went 3 for 3 in the game-winning kick mojo. I think it's what McCarthy does every year. Surprise, it's a situational football drill. Everyone get out there, see what happens. 3 for 3 in that. Misses from 39, 43, and 45. He is ahead, though, of Tristan Vizcaino. Vizcaino has gone 5 for 7 both days. Aubrey was 6 for 7 today, by the way. Vizcaino, which worries me the most, has 2 misses from 33. You can't miss those chip shot kicks. Also has missed from 45 and from 48. Early returns, Aubrey in the lead. Still a long way to go in that kicking battle.